Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, our weekly hangout talking about vehicles. Today we're going to talk about a 2008 Ford Explorer 4.6 liter V8 that had some spark plug problems. What was going on with this vehicle, Bernie?
The vehicle was brought to us for an engine misfire, and we actually, just as another side note, a couple of weeks previously, we did some repairs on the engine. There was a ticking noise in the engine. We did some repairs on that. So so the engine, anyways, 2 weeks later, the engine came back, had a misfire.
So what sort of testing did you do on the vehicle?
Well, at this point, the first thing we do whenever whenever a vehicle's been in for service and then something happens, and the owner's thinking, well, maybe you did something that wasn't quite right or was related to the repair, we first test we do is just to verify, was what we repaired fixed? And so the answer was yes. The initial issue was a ticking noise on the right rear side of the engine. There was a worn out rocker arm which we replaced, and that worked fine. It worked great, running fine. The issue we had with this one is there was a misfire on the left cylinder bank, so the opposite side of the engine. So basically not related to what we've done. So from this point, we needed to do some tests. And what it came down to after testing the fuel system, the ignition, it looked like it was either a spark plug problem or possibly an engine compression problem.
So that sounds kind of straightforward. Remove the spark plugs, check them, do a compression test. Is that what you did?
Well, yes. However, on one of these engines, it's not quite so straightforward. This is the Ford V8 engine that for about 5 or 6 model years they had the spark plugs would break off inside the cylinder. So it's not a simple matter of let's pull the spark plugs out, let's put a compression gauge in. It requires a commitment from the customer before you take these out, because we might find the spark plugs are all good, but half of them might break off, resulting in numerous hours of labor to extract them. So to his knowledge, he'd never had them replaced, so we thought it's probably a good chance that the spark plugs are bad, but again, the compression test would be a good thing to do. So let me just share some photos here. So here's the spark plugs removed from the engine. Actually, no, I'm not sharing these. Hold on. Let's give it a second here. Let me get back with the technology here. Screen share. Okay. Now, let's, sorry, give me a second here to figure out the technology. Where are our pictures? Okay. They're hidden away on me. Just give me half a second here. Okay.
We have done this before.
Are we looking at the spark plugs?
Yeah.
Now?
Now we can see them, yeah.
Okay. So, this is a new spark plug on the left, the old spark plug on the right. First thing you notice, unfortunately, I was not able to put any arrows here, but can you see my mouse pointer?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the old spark plug. You can see there's a gap in this spot, and there's a gap here. And you'll notice that on the old spark plug, the gap is enormous. So this is an indication spark plugs are extremely worn. Also, the reason these spark plugs break, it's the design of the spark plugs. You'll notice this big long barrel here. This is not cast as part of the threaded section of the spark plug, which is unique to this engine and unique and creates a problem in that you get a lot of carbon deposits, which you can see on this spark plug. They build up and they seize the spark plug, this section of the spark plug, into the bore. You untwist the spark plug, boom, it breaks. And I'm just stopping the sharing here. I think I should be back. Yeah, so the spark plug breaks off inside the engine.
So is there any way to prevent these spark plugs from breaking?
Well, as the owner of the vehicle, no, there isn't. But it's just simply a design of the spark plug. There's not much you can do to prevent it. But in removing them, there are ways that we can mitigate the breakage. There's a couple of techniques. One of them, warm the engine up, shut it off, and then you just crack the spark plugs a little bit. You know, it's just a minute turn to just release some of the pressure in the spark plug, maybe I'd say like a 64th of a turn kind of thing, minute amount. Spray penetrating oil in and let it soak overnight. Fortunately for this vehicle, it was a Friday night that we did that and came in Monday morning, removed them, and only one spark plug broke. So Whether that penetrating oil, caused all the other ones to come loose, it's hard to know. We've never had all 8 break. I'm sure it's happened to somebody, but not to us.
So how often do these plugs need replacement? And
well, the interval from Ford is, I just looked this up. It's 144,000 kilometers is the normal service interval on the spark plugs, and the severe service interval is 96,000 kilometers, which gets me to talking about service intervals. Most people think, oh, I just use my car for normal use, but actually most of us use our car for severe use. Severe use is long idling, which is like sitting city lights. It's frequent stops and starts. It's cold starts. I mean, that depends on where you live. But for the most part, most of us are actually driving severe service. Non-severe service, like normal service, would be you start your car up, you got on the highway, and you drive for about 30 kilometers, and you maybe a tiny bit of city driving, and you pull over. That and then back again. That would be non-severe use. So most of us are in a severe schedule. Incidentally, this vehicle had about 128,000 kilometers, and I showed you the pictures of the spark plug wear, so you can see, that this was sort of halfway in between those intervals, and already the spark plugs were pretty badly worn.
so you said that Ford redesigned these plugs so they won't break?
Yeah, they did actually. And just shortly after this vehicle was built, there's a production date on each vehicle. During this model year of this vehicle, they actually changed the design of the spark plugs, and so they don't break. So they don't have that sleeve that I showed you, that cylinder. It's more of a normal type of spark plug. Now you can't just take those plugs and put them in this engine. It's actually an engine redesign. But finally, after years of the first generation of these engines, the spark plugs would blow out under conditions. These don't blow out; they just break when you remove them. Now Ford's finally made them so they come out when you want them to, not before. And when you want them out, they come out.
Handy. So
yeah, like it should be.
You mentioned that this happened. This issue happened after you guys had done some work on the vehicle, but they were 2 unrelated issues. Is that something that happens fairly often?
From time to time. It's always a difficult conversation with a customer when you fix something and then something happens. And, most people don't know much about cars. They're complicated. You think, well, you fixed one thing and now this is doing this. Maybe you did something wrong. And, the truth is sometimes we do. The way we approach it is, first thing we'll do is look at what did we do and make sure that it wasn't something related to what we did. After that, then it's, okay, this is what we did, and let's start fresh. This is what we need to figure out. And this is, this kind of stuff happens with cars, and it's why you need to find a trusting relationship with whoever you do business with in terms of car repair. Find the trust and have the conversations with the person. If it seems a little dodgy, see if you can just be honest with them and see, it seems like it was this, why is that? And just get an answer. Anyone good in this trade and in this industry will explain that to you and give you a good answer. And if they can't, well, then maybe they're full of it. Not many people are. Most people, as I say, in this industry are honest.
So there you go. If you're looking for an honest mechanic in Vancouver, the guys to go talk to and get repairs and maintenance on your vehicles are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 or check out their website. We've got literally hundreds of videos on there now. 604-327-7112 or pawlikautomotive.com. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.